Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimrandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Supadantikam Vandeham Shri Gurum Shri Udapatakamadam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunatham Vidam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lilita Shivishakam Vidam ये कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांद राधा कांद नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी शबानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमः ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिधि नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणि प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घायते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दिनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्यमीश्वरं योऽन्तः प्रविश्य मम वाचं मां प्रसोक्तां सञ्जीवयति अखिलशक्तिधरस्वधाम्नाम् अन्यां च हस्तचरणश्रवणत्वगादीन् प्राणां नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यं जयदं श्रुतो पङ्गोर्मम मन्दमभिर्गति मत्सर्वस्य पादाम्बुजो राधा मदनमोहनं समाधिदेवं करुणानिधानं समानवर्णं सुहृदावतारम् अपार संसार समुद्र सेतुं भजामहे भागवतस्वरूपं परमानंद पाठाय प्रेमवर्षीयक्षराय दे सर्वदा सर्वसेव्याय कृष्णाय नमस्तुमे गुरुवे गौरचंद्राय राधिकाय तदाले कृष्णाय कृष्णभक्ताय तद्भक्ताय नमः हरे कृष्णा हरि ओम तत्सत. So welcome all the devotees for today's Srimad Bhagavatam class. So we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, 7th chapter, 32nd slok onwards. रजोपद्रवम् आलक्ष्य लोकव्यतिकरं च तं मतं च वासुदेवस्य सुञ्जाहारार्जुनोद्वयम् रजोपद्रवमालक्ष्य व्यतिकरं च तं मतं च वासुदेवस्य सञ्जाहारार्जुनोद्वयम्. हरे कृष्णा. जुबे माता जी.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु.
हरे कृष्णा.
प्रजोपद्रवमालक्ष्य लोको व्यतिकरं चातं मदं च वासुदेवस्य सञ्जहारार्जुनोदयम्.
उमा.
हरे कृष्ण.
हरे कृष्ण.
प्रचोपद्रवमालक्ष्य लोकव्यतिकरं च तं मतं च वासुदेवस्य सञ्चाहारार्जुनोद्वयम्.
Good. Kabir Prabhu, translation, please.
Prabhuji, can I try sloka also? Yeah.
Please.
Yeah. Prajopradravamalaksha lokavyakti च तम मतं च वासुदेवस्य सज्जहारार्जुनोद्वयम्.
Okay, Srini Mataji, you are there at home?
I'm here.
Can you cite?
Hare Krishna. One provision. Yeah, Hare Krishna. प्रजोपद्रवम् आलक्ष्य लोकव्यतिकरं च तं मदं च वासुदेवस्य सञ्जहारार्जुनोद्वयम्.
Very good. Translation, Kapil Prabhu.
Prabhuji, this
Yeah.
sloka is taken in the last class.
Already taken?
Already taken from 33 onwards. We have to start.
No problem. Okay. Just read the translation, then we'll go to the next.
Okay,
Translation.
Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Thus, seeing the disturbance of the general populace and the imminent destruction of the planets, Arjuna at once retracted both Brahmastra weapons as Lord Krishna desired.
Very good. So next sloka will go 33. तदा आसाद्य तरसां दारुणं गौतमी सुदं बबन्धामर्ष तां तां रक्षा पशुं रसनया यथा तथा आसाद्य तरसा दारुणं गौतमी सुदं बबन्धामर्ष तां रक्षा पशुं रसनया यथा. Okay. Cinema Daji. Okay, Ajiveshwari Mataji.
तथा आसाद्यता रसा दारुणं गौतमीसुदं बबन्धामर्षतामर्षा पशुं दशनाय यदा.
Okay, Uma.
तथा आसाद्य तरसा दारुणं गौतमी सुतं बबन्धामर्षतां रक्षः पशुं रसनया यथा.
Okay, Cinema Mataji.
हरे कृष्ण तदा आसाद्य तरसा दारुणं गौतमीसुतं बबन्धामर्ष तां राक्षा पशुं रशनयायता.
Very good. Okay, Kabir Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. तथ आसाद्यतर्षा दारुणं गौरमीषुतमा बबन्धामर्षतां राक्षः पशुं रसनया यथा.
Okay, translation also, please.
Arjuna, his eyes blazing in anger like two red balls of copper, dexterously arrested the son of Gautami and bound him with ropes like an animal.
Very good. Arjuna, his eyes blazing in anger like two red balls of copper, dexterously arrested the son of Gautami and bound him with ropes like an animal. So after Arjuna retracted both the Brahmastra, it was emitting so much of heat, just like towards the end of Pralaya, how Samartaka fire, Samartaka flood, it is inundating or it is destroying the whole universe. That much heat was being emanated from the meeting of two Brahmastra. Immediately, Lord Krishna instructed Arjuna to retract. Otherwise, it will be very difficult for the people, even in the upper planetary system, they were feeling the scorching heat of this Brahmastra. So he immediately withdrew it, retracted it. Okay. So Arjuna, he was so angry, like a red balls of copper, his eyeballs making. So immediately what he did, after that, he arrested the son of Gautami and bound him with ropes like an animal. Ashwatthama. He bound him with the ropes, like how we are, binding an animal like that. And let's see what happened in the purport. What Prabhupada says, Ashwatthama's mother, Kripi, was born in the family of Gautama. So that's why she was addressed here as Gautami. Right? Gautami. Yeah. The significant point in this sloka is that Ashwatthama was caught and bound up with the ropes like an animal. According to Sridhar Swami, Arjuna was obliged to catch the son of Brahmana like an animal as part of his duty, dharma. Okay. So who is Sridhar Swami? Who is Sridhar Swami? He is the commentator of Srimad Bhagavatam. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu respects and honors him very nicely because his commentary on Srimad Bhagavatam is accepted by all the acharyas. Sridhar Swami. Okay. So that's why Prabhupada is quoting Sridhar Swami. According to Sridhar Swami, many times you will find Sridhar Swami quoted by Prabhupada and other acharyas. Because as number one commentator on Srimad Bhagavatam. Snat Chakravarti Thakura, Sridhar Swami, he very often quotes Prabhupada. So according to Sridhar Swami, Arjuna was obliged to catch the son of a Brahmana, this son of a Brahmana, like an animal as part of his duty, because he had already, gave a promise to Draupadi that he will chop his head off, bring it, and standing on that leg, you have to take bath. And that's what he told Draupadi. Okay. This suggestion by Sridhara Swami is also confirmed in the latest statement of Sri Krishna. Ashwatthama was a bona fide son of Dronacharya and Kripi. But because he had degraded himself to a lower status of life, it was proper to treat him as an animal and not as a Brahman. His activity was like that of an animal. That's why he had to be treated like an animal. That's what Prabhupada says here. That's Kripi. Who is Kripacharya? Kripi is mother of Ashwatthama. Who is Kripacharya? What's the relation?
Brother of Kripi.
Yes. Brother of Kripi. Okay, he is also another guru of Pandavas. Okay, of course, all Kauravas and Pandavas. He survived the war, right? Upacharya survived the war. So Kripi, because he was a bona fide son of a Brahmana, Dronacharya, but his activity was like of that of an animal. So he had to be bound like an animal only with the ropes. So it was proper to treat him as an animal and not as a Brahmana. That's why Ashwatthama is not a Brahmana. He is a Dvija Bandhu, Brahma Bandhu, Brahmana Bandhu, relative of a Brahmana. Okay. As far as his activities are concerned, it's not of Brahmana's activities. That's why he's a Dvija Bandhu, Bandhu of a Brahmana. So text 34. Sibiraya Ninishantam Rajva Badvari Pumbalat Praharjunam Pragopito Bhagavan Ambujekshana Sibiraya Ninishantam Rajva Badvari Pumbalat Praharjunam Pragopito Bhagavan Ambujekshana. Okay, Kapil Prabhu.
Krishna. Yeah. Sibiraya ninisantam rajva badva ripumbalata praharjunam prakupito bhagavan unche kshanaha.
Ambujekshana. कैसे निमादा जी?
शिबिरायानि निशन्तं रज्ज्वा बद्ध्वा रिपुम्बलात् प्राहार्जुनं प्रकुपितो भगवानम्बुजेक्षणा.
उमा.
शिबिरायानि निसन्तं रज्वा बद्ध्वा रिपुम्बलात् प्रहार्जुनं प्रकुपितो भगवानम्बुजेक्षणः.
Okay, Jivesh Mata ji.
Sibiraya Nishandam Reja Bendari Bambelat Praharjunam Prekubido Bhagavanam Bujekshana.
Translation: after binding Ashwatthama, Arjuna wanted to take him to the military camp. The personality of God at Sri Krishna, looking on with his lotus eyes, spoke to Arjuna in an angry mood. So Arjuna bound Ashwatthama with ropes like an animal, and he wanted to take him to a military camp. Then Sri Krishna, looking on with his lotus eyes, spoke to Arjuna in an angry mood. In an angry mood, Krishna spoke to Arjuna. Let's see what. Both Arjuna and Lord Sri Krishna are described here in an angry mood, but Arjuna's eyes were like balls of red copper, whereas the eyes of the Lord were like lotuses. So Arjuna was so angry, because of which his eyeballs were turned into copper color. Whereas Lord Sri Krishna, he was also angry, but his eyes were like lotuses. This means that the angry mood of Arjuna and that of Lord are not on the same level. The Lord is transcendence, and thus he is absolute in any stage. His anger is not like the anger of a conditioned living being with the modes of qualitative nature, material nature, because he is absolute, both his anger and pleasure are the same. So here Prabhupada is giving a distinction between the anger of Arjuna and that of Lord Krishna. Arjuna's anger is within the three modes of material nature. That's why there is a different expression altogether on his face. His balls turned into copper, so on. Whereas Krishna was also in angry mode, but his anger was in transcendence. His eyes were not red with anger, but like lotus are so soft, cooling, like that. So that's the difference between a living entity, conditioned living entity, and that the Supreme Lord. That is what we have to understand. That's the distinction that Prabhupada wants to let us know. We are controlled by the three modes of material nature. So according to the situation, or in mode we are in which mode we are influenced, that will reflect in our thought, word, and deeds. Whereas he is always in transcendence, Supreme Lord. He is not influenced by the three modes of material nature. Because he is absolute, both his anger and pleasure are the same. We cannot differentiate. When he gets angry also, now when he gets happiness also, he is neutral, is same. His anger is not exhibited in the three modes of material nature. It's only a sign of his bent of mind towards the cause of his devotee, because that is his transcendent nature. Okay, because he likes his devotees, he cares for his devotees. So that, in a way can be understood from his character, from his behavior, but he is neutral in both cases, whether it is happiness or anger or distress. Because all that he does, he thinks, he speaks, everything is in transcendental mode of goodness. That is pure mode of goodness, beyond the three modes in which we are influenced. That is Sattva, Raja, Tamas. So it is only a sign of his bent of mind towards the cause of his devotee, because that is his transcendental nature. Therefore, even if he is angry, the object of anger is blessed, is unchanged in all circumstances. When we are angry towards a person, okay, we don't, think of something good for him, isn't it? When we are angry towards our enemy, let him suffer because he has done it. He deserves it. Okay, that is our mood, isn't it? If we have some enmity towards anybody, if somebody has done some harm to us, or we have, in whichever case, we have done some harm to other person, that person also will think for us the same way, how we are thinking. Let him suffer because he deserves it. He has done so much atrocities towards me. So why should he live a good life? But here, the Supreme Lord's anger is also blessing. So here, that's what Prabhupada is. Therefore, even if he's angry, even if Lord Krishna is angry, the object of anger is blessed. Who is object of anger? Ashwatthama. Okay. So even when he shows anger towards Ashwatthama for all his nefarious activities, he is blessing him. It will become a blessing only, in other words. He is unchanged in all circumstances. So in material realm, under the clutches of three gunas, our character, our attitude, our actions, everything reflects according to that gunas. But Lord, even though people are envious of the Supreme Lord Krishna, they don't like Krishna, they don't accept Krishna. Krishna loves everyone, irrespective of their liking or not, doesn't like, whether they like or not. Krishna's children, they're all stubborn children. Okay. So Krishna wants to revive them into Krishna consciousness. So he may give some punishment, harsh punishment, which they have to undergo that punishment. And after that, they will come to their real conscious Krishna consciousness. So it is a blessing. So even if he gets angry, it is for their good. It's a mercy. Text 35. Mainam partarhasi tratum brahmabandhum imam jahi yoswa anaghasa suptan avadhim nishi balakan mainam partarhasi tratum brahmabandhum imam jahi yosa anaghasa suptan avadhim nishi balakan. Yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Mainam partharhasi tradum brahmabandhum imam jahi yosav anagasa suptan avadhinishi balakan.
But Uma.
Hare Krishna. Mainam partarhasi tratum brahmabandhum imam jahi yosa vanagasa suptan avadhi nishi balakan.
Jiveshri Mataji.
Mainam partahasi tatrum brahma bindumimam jahi yoha savanakas suptan avadini si balakan.
Okay. Kapil Prabhu, you want to try?
Yeah, Prabhuji. Mainam partha arhasi tratum brahma bandhumimam jahi yoga savanagasha suptanavadhinnisi balakan.
Lord Sri Krishna said, "Oh Arjuna, you should not show mercy by releasing this relative of a Brahmana, Brahmabandhu, for he has killed innocent boys in their sleep." So Krishna is instructing Arjuna not to pardon him, not to release him. By releasing this relative of a Brahmana. So he is also not addressing him as Brahmana. Oh, Krishna also. Relative of a Brahmana, Brahmabandhu, Dijabandhu. Why? Because he has killed these innocent boys, the Upapandavas, in their sleep. So he should be punished. So that punishment is also for his good. This is what Krishna says. Punishment is for, what is for? For reformation. For his good only. If he is not punished now, he will have to undergo this punishment for many, many lifetimes. So at least that much, whatever punishment that he has endured will be reduced. So you should not leave him. The word Brahmabandhu is significant. A person who happens to take birth in a family of a Brahmana, but is not qualified to be called a Brahmana, is addressed as a relative of a Brahmana and not as Brahmana. So that is a clear understanding. Person who took birth in a Brahmanical family, but not following the Brahmanical culture, is not a Brahmana. He can be called a friend of Brahmana. That is Brahmabandhu. The son of a high court judge is not virtually a high court judge, but there is no harm in addressing a high court judge's son as a relative of the honorable justice. So Prabhupada gives further clarification. The son of a high court judge is not a judge, but we can always say he is a relative of high court judge or son of high court judge. Therefore, as by birth, only one does not become a high court judge. So also one does not become a Brahmana simply by birthright, but by acquiring the necessary qualification of Brahmana. That's why Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Chadur Varnyam Maya Srishtam Guna Karma Vibhavasa. By Guna and Karma, not by birth. If one is fortunate to get birth also, it's well and good. But that's not a criteria. That's not a parameter for a Brahmana. Anybody can take birth in any Varna, but if he or she has that qualification, she can be a Brahmana. So it's not birthright. That's what we have to understand. So if that is the case, everybody, irrespective of what his actions are, if a son of Brahmana, whether they are drinking or smoking or having illicit relations, how can they be Brahmana? Because Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Samo damas tapas chaivam shantir arjamamemacha jnana vijnanam astikyam brahma karma swabhavacha. Okay. So what is the characteristics or qualifications of a Brahmana? Samo damas tapas. Sama means peace, okay, neutrality, equanimity. Okay, damas means self-control. So Brahmana qualification, sama, damas, tapas should have austerity. You should perform austerity. Should be austere regulations. And sama, damas, saucham, cleanliness. Shantir, arjava, okay, patience and tolerance, all these qualities, and plus jnana vijnanam. Jnana means knowledge, vijnanam realized knowledge. Astikyam, that is dharma, religiosity. These are all the some of the qualifications of a Brahmana. He doesn't fit in this criteria. Who? Ashwatthama. Okay. So simply by birthright, one cannot become a Brahmana. So also one does not become a Brahmana simply by birthright, but by acquiring the necessary qualification of Brahmana. As the High Court judgeship is a post for the qualified man, so also the post of a Brahmana is attainable by qualification only. Shastra enjoins that if good qualifications are seen in a person born in a family other than that of a Brahmana, the qualified man has to be accepted as a Brahmana. Similarly, if the person born in a family of Brahmana is void of Brahmanical qualification, then he must be treated as a non-Brahmana, or in better terms, relative of Brahmana. So whether the person is born in a Brahmanical family or otherwise, if he has the qualification, should be called as a Brahmana. He is fit to be a Brahmana. And in other words, if a person is fortunate enough to take birth and has all the qualities, he can be. If he doesn't, even though he took birth in a Brahminic family, then there is no use, because it doesn't have the qualification, doesn't meet the criteria. So he's not a Brahmana. He can be called a relative Brahmana. Okay. Even Haridas Thakur also, although born in a Muslim family, he was considered more than a Brahmana. He used to chant 300,000 names of the Supreme Lord. Okay, 22 hours a day. Even Advaita Acharya, after the Shraddha ceremony of his ancestors, the first prasadam was offered to Namacharya Haridas Thakur, not even to the Brahmanas there. So he considered this Namacharya Haridas Thakur, although born in a Islamic family, the highest Brahmana in order. So from that, what do we understand? Advaita Acharya is Vishnu himself. The Panchatattva is the incarnation of Vishnu and Sadashiva. So he treated Namacharya Haridas Thakur more than Brahmana, pure Vaishnava. Instead of giving the prasadam first to other Brahmanas, the local caste Brahmanas, he wanted to give it to Haridas Thakur, because he was the real qualified Brahmana of that time. So it is not by birthright. That is what Prabhupada wants to emphasize here. Lord Sri Krishna, the supreme authority of all religious principles, the Vedas, has personally pointed out these differences, and he is about to explain the reason for this in the following slokas. He is now going to explain 36. Mattam paramattam unmattam suptam balam sriyam jadam prapannam viratham vetam naripum handi dharma ved mattam pramattam unmattam suptam balam sriyam jadam. Prapannam Viratham Vetam Naripum Hanti Dharmaved. Jiveshri Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Mattam pramattam unmattam. Subhattam balam striyam jadam. Prabhannam veeradam veedam. Naribam hanti dharmavil.
Kabir Prabhu.
Mattam pramattam unmattam suptam balam striyam jayam prapannam viratham etam naripum hanti dharma pita.
Uma.
Hare Krishna. Mattam pramattam unmattam suptam balam striyam jadam prapannam viratham veetam naripum hanti dharmavet.
Sini Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Mattam pramattam suptam balam striyam jadam prabannam viradam bhidam naripum hanti dharmavid.
Person who knows the principles of religion does not kill an enemy who is careless, intoxicated, insane, asleep, afraid, or devoid of his chariot. Nor does he kill a boy, a woman, a foolish creature, or a surrendered soul. So, what are the principles one has to follow in war? That's what it is mentioned. If a person who knows the principles of religion, okay, a person is dharmic, okay, follows dharma, does not kill an enemy who is careless, is neglectful, he is not ready for a war. You cannot kill him. If it is a proper righteous war, the other person should have weapon in their hand if this person has weapon. So you should give a chance for him to take the weapon. So if he is weaponless, he should also be weaponless. Or this person is taking and killing the other person without any weapon, then it's against the principles of war. So he is careless, neglectful, he is not ready. We should not kill that Shatru, that enemy. Intoxicated, if he is not stable, he is intoxicated, he is not in his proper mental condition, we should not fight with him. Insane, he is not, again, he is totally out of his mind. Asleep, is sleeping. So here, all the Upapandavas were asleep. You are not supposed to kill them at all. It's all against the laws of nature also, laws of Supreme Lord also. Afraid or devoid of his chariot. He's afraid. He doesn't want to take part in the war. He wants to avoid war. So you are not devoid of chariot. In those days, the chariot was there and it was required for war. So he fell down from chariot. That time you should not kill him. You should give a chance to get onto the chariot. When he is ready, then he should fight. Otherwise, it is false. So nor does he kill a boy, small boy, woman, lady, foolish creature, or a surrendered soul. Those who take shelter, he should give protection. Kshatriyas especially. He is also Kshatriya. Although he is a son of Brahmana, he is fighting, no? So that's why he is doing the Kshatriya job. Ashwatthama is the son of Brahmana Dronacharya, but he is in the warfield, isn't it? So he is doing the Kshatriya job. So whoever surrenders, they should be protected. Even the enemy comes and surrender to a Kshatriya. Kshatriya will forgive, will not fight. So many examples are there. An enemy who does not resist is never killed by a warrior who knows the principles of religion. So that's the principles of religion. Okay, he doesn't resist. So simply you cannot go and kill him. That is in the present day it happens. People are at night, they are sleeping. They break open the door and with machine guns. They kept many, especially in the Western countries, in the schools and churches and other places, you will go and randomly they shoot. So these are all cowards. If at all you want to fight, okay, let the other person be ready. If they are ready, you fight. If they are scared, they don't want to fight, leave them. So definitely there will be punishment from the higher nature. Even if the government cannot punish due to whatever reason, the Supreme Lord, the higher nature will never pardon, will never forgive. So formerly battles were fought on the principles of religion and not for the sake of sense gratification. If the enemy happened to be intoxicated, asleep, etc., as above mentioned, he was never to be killed. These are some of the codes of religious war. These are the codes of religious war. One has to abide by that, adhere to that. Formerly, war was never declared by the whims of selfish political leaders. It was carried out on religious principle, free from all vices. Nowadays, the war is just somebody, I don't like that person, so I'll kill him. I don't like that country, so I will destroy them. This is all I-centered. The leader who is in the position, if he wants, he can declare a war. If he wants, he can stop the war. So just whimsically they are doing. There is no religious, base at all. No principles of religion. Violence carried out on religious principles is far superior to so-called non-violence. Mr. Prabhupada hits another point here. Okay, violence carried out on religious principles is far superior to so-called non-violence. So in the name of non-violence, somebody is accepting adharmic activities. Better than that, violence is better based on religious principle. So people say, okay, violence is not good. Ahimsa is not good. Ahimsa. But that ahimsa, what is the use of that ahimsa, which creates problems in the society, disturbance in the society? If you keep quiet, if somebody is doing some, mischievous activities, and the responsible person is keeping quiet, thinking that it's violence, I'm not supposed to do. Actually, it is creating more problem. That's why Prabhupada say, violence carried out on religious principle is far superior to the so-called non-violence. So in the name of non-violence, you're creating a lot of disturbance in the society. You're sending wrong messages in the society. If somebody has done some mischievous activities, atrocities, it has to be checked. Proper action should be enforced there. Otherwise, it will be repeated. Now, a person steals some money, robs a bank, he has to be punished. The leader says, no. How can I beat him? How can I punish him? It's violence. So what will happen? Such activities by different peoples will flourish in the country because there is no punishment. For punishment, you have to enforce violence. If because of the fear of such punishment, people will stop doing such crimes. So punishment is also for good cause. Punishment should be there. Children, when they do some mischievous activities, the parents should chastise, and if needed, there should be given punishment also proper so that they don't repeat it. It's not that the parents want to harm the child or inflict pain upon the child. It is for the child's good, so that he or she will not repeat such mischievous character in future. That's why here Prabhupada says that. Text 37. Swapranaanya pranaye prapushnaati agranakalam tadvadastasya hi shreyo yaddoshadyati adhapuman swapranaanya pranaye prapushnaati agranakalam tadvadastasya hi shreyo yaddoshadyati yadi adhapuman. Kapil Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Swapranaya परप्राणे प्रपुष्णात्यतृणखल तद्वत्स्तस्य हि श्रेयो यदोषाद्यतदः पुमान्.
About Sinimataji.
स्वप्राणान्य परप्राणे प्रभुष्णाति अघृणा खला तद्वधस्तस्य हि श्रेयो यद्दोषाद् यात्यधा पुमान्.
Okay, Uma.
Hare Krishna. स्वप्राणान्यः परप्राणैः प्रपुष्णात्यघ्नकलः तद्वदस्तस्य हि श्रेयो यद्दोषाद्यात्यथा पुमान्.
Maribol. Okay, Jiveshwari Mataji.
प्राणान्यः परा प्राणिन् प्रपुष्णाति घृणाखला तदा इस्तस्य हि श्रेयो यदोषादि तदा पुमान्.
A cruel and wretched person who maintains his existence at the cost of others' lives deserves to be killed for his own well-being. Otherwise, he will go down by his own actions. See what is said here? He deserves to be killed for his own well-being. Okay? If he is not killed, he will go down by his own action. So he'll be glided down to lower species, then undergo the punishment if he is not punished immediately in this life. So whatever actions we have done, we are supposed to get some reaction, especially bad reaction. If it is settled here, then we don't have to suffer in future, or we don't have to go to the lower species of life. So if somebody escapes also punishment materially, suppose somebody has robbed a bank, they escape by bribing or whatever means. They may escape the civil laws, but they may not be able to escape the God's laws. You will be punished, if not in this life. When the right time comes, in some life, you will be punished. And they say, I have not done anything. Why am I punished? So this is the reason. Because he doesn't remember the previous chapters, previous lives. So in that particular life, maybe he has not done anything wrong. But that punishment now he got in this life is the punishment that which he did not get in the previous life's actions. So the karma will come. Definitely. If not this life, next life. If not next, after next. In some lifetime, we have to pay back the karma. Only when everything is settled, no karma left, then we will be able to go back home, back to body. Not otherwise. Whether it is sukriti or dushkriti, good pious activity or impious activity. If there is an action, good or bad, we have to enjoy or suffer. For a good action, we have to enjoy. For bad actions, we have to suffer. So when there is no balance of good actions, nor balance of bad actions, everything becomes zero, then only we'll be eligible to go back home, back to Godhead. So life for a life is just a punishment for a person who cruelly and shamelessly lives at the cost of another's life. So that is the rule. Life for life, tit for tat. Life for life. Political morality is to punish a person by a death sentence in order to save a cruel person from going to hell. So it is saving the person, that death sentence or death penalty given to a person who has killed somebody, it will save him from going to hell. So going to hell is much, much more than accepting the punishment or getting this punishment of being killed by the government or whoever it is. So that a murderer is condemned to a death sentence by the state is good for the culprit, because in his next life, he will not have to suffer for his act of murder. If he doesn't get the punishment in this life for whatever he has done, then it will be carry forwarded. He has to suffer it. So better finish it off right now so that he doesn't have to suffer in the hell and doesn't have to lie down in the lower species also. Such a death sentence for the murderer is the lowest possible punishment offered to him. And it is said in the Smriti Shastras that men who are punished by thinking on the principles of a life for a life are purified of all their sins. So much so that they may be eligible for being promoted to the planets of heaven. According to Manu, the great author of civic codes and religious principles, even the killer of an animal is to be considered a murderer because animal food is never meant for the civilized man, whose prime duty is to prepare himself for going back to Godhead. So Manu Samhita also says, killer of an animal also is considered a murderer because animal food is never meant for civilized man. So for that also we have to partake the sinful reaction. That's why it is said, Mam Sa. Ma means me, Sa means you. So this life I will kill you, next life you kill me. It's an agreement between two living entity, one on a higher platform, one other on the lower platform. The lower platform animal will become a human being. The human being will become an animal. So they can take the revenge that time. So that is why Mamsa. So according to Manu Samhita, Manu says the great author of civic codes, religious means even the killer of animal is to be considered a murderer because animal food is never meant for civilized man, whose prime duty is to prepare himself for going back to God. So if it does that, his ultimate aim of human life is spoiled, failed. What is ultimate aim? Going back home, back to God. That will not happen if he indulge in animal slaughter. He says that in the act of killing an animal, there's a regular conspiracy by the party of sinners. And all of them are liable to be punished as murderers, like a party of conspirators who kill a human being combinedly. So a group of people, okay, they devise a plan, okay, they share the responsibility of finding out the person, killing a person, arranging or transporting these people to the spot and allowing them to kill that person. So many people are involved, in a plot. Similarly, so they all should be punished. They all have to partake the respective amount of sinful reaction. Similarly, here also Prabhupada says, now all those involved in the slaughter, they all have to partake the sinful reaction according to the degree of their involvement. So who are all involved in slaughter for sense gratification or for eating meat? Here it is. He who gives permission. He who gives permission. So there's a master. He's telling the butcher, please kill that animal. I want that flesh. So he's giving the permission to the master. I want that person, that goat, that animal, this animal. He who gives permission, he who kills the animal, the person who kills it, he who sells the slaughtered animal, he who cooks the animal, he who administers distribution of the foodstuff, at last he who eats. So how many people are involved? One gives permission, two kills and sells. How many? 1, 2, 3, then 4, then 5, then 6. 6 people are involved. All of them will have to take part the sinful, accept the sinful reactions to the degree they are involved. May not be equal. Now, the person who kills should be the highest in getting the sinful reaction. So everybody who gives permission, Who kills the animal, who sells the animal, who cooks the animal, who administers distribution of the foodstuff, and at last who eats. So six categories of people are involved in this sinful activity. And all of them are liable to be punished by the laws of nature. No one can create a living being despite the advancement of material science. And therefore, no one has the right to kill a living being by one's independent means. So it's very clear that we cannot, create one small ant, a mosquito, just a small. Can anyone do that? Artificially, we may do anything and everything, okay, mechanically, technologically, but real mosquito, small ant, can they? No. So since they cannot create, they don't have a right to destroy or kill also. So for the animal eaters, the scriptures have sanctioned restricted animal sacrifices only. And such sanctions are there just to restrict the opening of slaughterhouses and not to encourage animal killing. So those who cannot withstand their urges of eating meat, they have been given some concession, some allowance. That's what here it is said. Animal eaters. Yeah. Allowed in the scriptures is good both for the animal sacrifice and the animal eater. It is good for the animal in the sense that the sacrificed animal is at once promoted to the human form of life after being sacrificed at the altar. As I told you, he will be promoted. The human being will be demoted. And the animal eater is saved from grosser types of sins, eating meats supplied by organized slaughterhouses, which are ghastly places for breeding all kinds of mental afflictions to society, society, country, and the people in general. The material world is itself a place always full of anxieties. And by encouraging animal slaughter, the whole atmosphere becomes polluted more and more by war, pestilence, famine, and many other unwanted calamities. So it is very clear. Prabhupada, give a clarity in his purport that one should not indulge in such activities because that will take us to lower and lower species, and we may have to take millions and billions of lifetimes to get promoted to the human form of life again. So if we miss this chance, then we had it. So we should be very careful not to inflict pain on other living entities because we have not created them. We cannot inflict pain upon them. Whatever possible, we should try to help them advance. That is what we should do, not to harm them. So if we harm them, definitely we'll get back. We'll bounce back. So Hare Krishna. So text 38 next week. Vancha kalpatarubhesya kripa sindhubhya patidanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo. Ananta Kodi Vaishnavati ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. I go Premanande.